Welcome to the Community Difference Wylie, powered by the Difference Media, LLC, and hosted by Lendon Wilson, owner of the Difference Media, LLC, and creator of the Community Difference series, and also sponsored by Harvey Loosier with Twilight Cleaning Services. The Community Difference Wylie was created to serve as a platform for local leaders and business professionals to showcase their expertise, values, and commitment to their community. Overall, the podcast aims to create a stronger sense of community in North Texas by highlighting the often overlooked or unnoticed good work being done by local leaders, businesses, and professionals. So sit back and relax as our host, co-host, and their guests share inspirational stories, experiences, thoughts, and insights about being a professional, along with the opportunities for our businesses to serve our communities in very special ways. Because the Community Difference Wylie starts now.
Good morning, Wylie, Texas. It's a beautiful day in Wylie, Texas. It is 11:31 a.m. and I am Lendon Wilson, the creator and founder of the Community Difference series. It is a podcast firmly rooted at the intersection of business development and community involvement. What does that mean? Well, we are more than just a podcast. We are embedded within our communities, and we make connections within those communities, and we bring the people, places, and events that are having the greatest impact on our communities to the residents of those communities and surrounding areas. I want to talk a little bit about the Community Difference. We are currently in Rockwall, Plano, and Wylie, also Frisco, soon to be in McKinney, Prosper, Little Elm, Grapevine, South Lake, and Keller. And that's what we do with our podcast. So if you're looking to find out what's going on in a positive manner within your community, tune in. We do these shows on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays. Wednesdays will be going away because that's when we're going to be doing our Business Development Alliance. And what the Business Development Alliance is, it is a networking group on steroids, so to speak, that is designed to help us build an ecosystem of opportunity and break free from referral dependency. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today as we talk about today's topic, how to think like a CEO, even if you're a team of one, adopting a growth mindset to lead your business to new heights. And so if you're a small business owner, self-employed, and you're looking how to work more on your business than in your business, stick around because that's what we're going to be talking about today. Before we do, I want to get our guest in here. So we've got a guest, we've got a co-host, and I'm going to go with co-host first. Our number one co-host, Mr. Harvey Loosier, knows that success, like a great business or bold snack choice, is all about the right mix. While some might question his love for crispy oatmeal cookies and cheddar cheese, there's no questioning his ability to build strong relationships that drive business growth. As the owner of Twilight Cleaning, Harvey is here to show you how to leverage the right connections so you can take your business from overlooked to unstoppable. Welcome to the show, Harvey.
Good morning, Mr. Lendon.
How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. Episode 101. Gotta love it.
Episode 101. That's right. We had the big groundbreaking one just a few weeks ago, number 100, and I think we had we're up to about 15,000 viewers on that one, and it was
Yes.
that was a big deal, really big deal.
Great
So,
show. Great show.
we had a lot of good people on this show, and I really appreciate them all. They made a big difference in not only this show but the community of Wylie itself. So, what are you most excited about on our show today?
I'm excited to hear about our guest today. She actually does a podcast herself, so I'm interested to get to know her a little bit better. And then the topic, of course, Lendon, the topic.
Yeah, I'm excited about this topic too, because I don't know anybody out there that's not been a business owner that hasn't experienced these struggles. And so hopefully we can bring some insights and help people hit that next level. All right, I want to go ahead now and introduce our co-host of the week. She is Debbie Watson, and she knows a thing or two about making waves, literally and figuratively, from being the lead singer of a teen band that opened for Reba McEntire at a goat cook-off to pulling off a full 4-roll turn off a jet ski. Debbie Watson brings bold energy to everything she does. As the owner and education director of Abracadoodle, she turns creative chaos into process art magic. She's all about planting her flag and never quitting, and I can vouch for that. And today she's diving into how to think like a CEO, even if you're a team of one. Welcome to the show, Debbie. You're muted, Debbie.
Sorry, I had a little bit of background earlier with the dog. It's finally shut up, but I am so excited to be here for this show. 101, that's exciting. I actually was able to guest a couple of times on this show as host, but also I was on the 100 show. So excited for this topic too. Very excited.
Well, I was thinking about that today when I was looking over all of my notes. And you've been on every show, haven't you? You've been on Rockwall, Wylie, Plano, and Frisco.
Yep, I have. I have been on every show.
Even sat in the host seat on a few of those.
Yes, I have.
All of them now, right? So you did Wylie.
Oh yeah, I did. I have been on. No, I haven't been on. I haven't been a host on Frisco yet. That's the only one.
Brian's kind of got that seat in. And
that reminds
me, he's never missed.
I know he's never missed.
He is the only host we have that has never missed a show.
That's pretty impressive.
It is.
We need to work on that.
Huh?
We need to work on that. Get you on Frisco.
I know. Well, hopefully soon to be Little Elm. That's what we're shooting for.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Well, Debbie, what are you excited about today on being on today's show?
I am super excited for my guest. Robbin and I have met. She's just a remarkable woman. Entrepreneur, podcaster. So I'm really excited to learn more about her. But having been a self-employed one person to now having to be a CEO, this topic has really been great for me. And I really have been researching it. And it really has changed my thought process. So I'm really excited to dive in deeper and learn more about it, that we can help the audience also. So
that's awesome. You just made me think of one thing. So I want to hit that before I bring in Robbin. So knowing the topics that we've had, Debbie, you've been here a little bit longer than Harvey. What do y'all, y'all know how the community difference work. We have a business topic every month, and that topic applies to us just as much as it does to our audience. Mm-hmm. How impactful has that been on your growth and development as far as seeing these topics when we go over them a month previous and studying those topics so we can bring it to our audience, but then being able to absorb what we're learning?
For me personally, Lendon, this year and a half with this community has grown my thought process and my business knowledge, I would say over 100%. Wow. And so I don't think I would have bought a franchise for one, or I would be where I am right now if it had not been for the things that I've learned through this process. So I'm very, very thankful that I found this community, but that now I'm being able to learn and even share more with other people and helping them on their journey.
Awesome. Good to hear. What about you, Harvey?
And I'm right there with Debbie. I think every one of these shows that I not only listen to, but I'm involved in, I gain another aspect that I can, of thinking anyway, that I can put in play into my business. So it's been huge for me.
Well, that's good. That's what I wanted to hear, because what we're all about is bringing different perspectives. We're not trying to say we have all the answers. We just think that it's very important that we all think and see things from a different perspective and then make the best decision for us. And so that's what the community difference is all about. All right. It is time now to bring in our featured guest today, Miss Robbin Kelton. She is proof that being a CEO takes more than just a title. It takes grit, hustle, and maybe a little bit of kickboxing. Meet Robbin Kelton, founder of Mamapreneur Enterprises and host of the Mamapreneur Podcast. She's all about helping female entrepreneurs grow their brands and punch through challenges, literally, from building businesses to surviving wig mishaps at retreats. I cannot wait to hear about that. Robbin knows how to roll with the punches and keep it real. So get ready to learn how to think like a CEO, even if your only team member is you. Welcome to the show, Robbin. How are you?
Good morning, everyone. I am doing well. Very grateful to be before you today.
Well, we are so excited to have you. Before we get too far into this, I got to know, what happened with the wig mishap at the retreat?
So I was at a retreat, was a women's retreat with, at my church, we have life groups. And so someone needed help with something with their hair. I'm also in the beauty business, been doing hair a long time. And so the one moment I forgot I had a wig on, this is not one at the moment, but the one moment I forgot I had a wig on, I was helping her with her hair and I was trying to show her. And I did this. Wig went to the floor.
Oh my gosh.
I said, well, thankfully we had a cap on and our hair was braided underneath and it wasn't too crazy. You know, we didn't alarm anyone. They just laughed at me. It's fine. I'm like, laugh on. There's more where that wig came from. Yes.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing that. We love to, I mean, we like Harvey's got I don't know if y'all can get on the board with this or not, but oatmeal cookies and cheddar cheese. Anybody in for that?
No, thanks. We're good here.
No,
We had somebody the other day.
I will say I like cheese. What are they? Cheetos with bananas. So I know
Weird people. We had somebody just the other day that had cherry snow cone with pickles.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Got a pickle.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know that I have any really weird stuff like that. Maybe I'm too simple or too plain or something like that. I don't know. All right. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about what's happening in the community of Wylie, any big updates, important events, and some inside info that you're going to want to hear. So everybody stick around. We'll be right back.
The Community Difference Wylie is made possible by Lendon Wilson with the Difference Media LLC and creator of the Community Difference series, and by Harvey Loosier with Twilight Cleaning Services. The Community Difference Wylie. Together, we can make the difference. And now, back to the show.
Are you ready?
Because it's time for
What's Up, Wylie?
All right. It is time for What's Up, Wylie. This is where we talk about the people, places, and events that are making the most positive impact within our communities. Why is this important to you as a viewer? Well, how many of you are tired of watching the daily news and the daily television tell us about all the really sad, poor, bad things that are happening in our communities and around the world? So we try to bring a little positive spin because, believe it or not, there are good things happening right around us every day, every moment. And there's a lot of people that never get the recognition that they deserve. So, Debbie, I'm going to let you start us off today and talk a little bit about what you know that's going on in our community and around.
Yeah, so there's an event coming up in April to honor our veterans. And, you know, being married to a 20-year veteran, I have 3 family members that have been in law enforcement. This is really dear to me. And so this is the First Lieutenant Robert F. Welch III Run for the Heroes. Robert used to go by Robbie. He was a military person. He was a lieutenant in the Army. He he followed in the footsteps of his father and grandfather, becoming a lieutenant through the ROTC with the University of Texas in Arlington. He was actually killed in action in Afghanistan at the age of 26 in 2011. He won the Bronze Medal, the Purple Heart, many, many other accommodations, but his legacy is honored through the charity supporting military members, veterans, and first responders. So this is on the 26th at Old City Park in Wylie. There are still sponsorships. There's still vendors because they're going to have a fair. So I think this is just a great way. It's going to be a 5K run. So this is just a great way to honor our soldiers. But also, hey, if you're a vendor out there or you want your name out there just to go out to support that, let's go out and do that and enjoy the beautiful day, I'm sure, in April. So
awesome. Well, thank you, Debbie. Robbin, I know that you've got a few things you want to share with us. We weren't able to get your splash screens. I apologize for that. But please share with our audience what you know that's going on around the DFW area.
All righty. Thank you. Thank you, Lendon. So I am hosting an event for real estate professionals. Does not matter where you are in the real estate profession on April 11th in the Allen, Texas area. Really big on connection and networking. So just getting people in the room. That is from 5 to 8 on April 11th. And we can get those links out to you all to register so we can have an accurate head count. And there may be some opportunities for headshots to be taken at the event as well. We always want to stay current with our branding picks and all the things. So that's one. That's on April 11th. And then for my ladies who like to network, March 23rd, 2025 in the Frisco area. We do have an event brunch going on in the Frisco area. And as well, we can provide that link for you as well at 1:30. And you can come in your pearls and fedoras. I normally have a theme of some sort. So that's what we have going. And lastly, virtually, I have a podcasting webinar this upcoming Monday on at 7 p.m. Central Time. And it's all things podcasting in 60 minutes. So we'll provide that link as well.
All right.
That's all I have. Thank you, Lendon.
Well, thank you very much. And Harvey's going to look really great in his little fedora. So
Get you some pearls.
I got to get mine. And some pearls. Yes.
That's some
yes.
pearls for you.
gotta have the pearls. Gotta have the pearls. All right, Harvey, I know you got a few things, so let's go ahead and kick that off.
Yes, sir. So I'm going to start off with the State of the City luncheon that we have coming up on March 25th. The Wylie Chamber of Commerce is hosting their annual State of the City luncheon. And obviously our featured keynote person will be the mayor, Matthew Porter. This will be a fantastic opportunity to stay informed about Wylie's current projects, future plans, and the overall vision for the community. This will be located at the Wylie Conference Center at the Collin College. Will be a buffet style, and that's from 11:30 to 1 p.m. And you can register at the wyliechamber.org. And registration closes on this Friday, March 21st at 3 p.m. So they're doing that to make sure that they can get the catering locked down and have enough food. So be sure this event right here always sells out, and it's a huge event. So be sure to get your tickets as soon as possible. So, and then let's go to April 5th is the 58th annual Wylie FFA show and sale. This wraps a full day of recognition, celebration, and community support. So all that week, the young men and ladies will be out there with the Wylie High School and all over, and will be showing their animals that week. And so that Friday or that Saturday morning, this will end the whole process. And so as residents, you can come out and support the program by enjoying a family-friendly event, which is featuring livestock, shop projects, and more. And then as business owners, this is a great opportunity for you to invest in the local youth of Wylie. So this is one of the things that our kids always went through was the FFA. And so we love to stay plugged into that and really give back to our youth on this. The key highlights for that Saturday, if you're already registered buyer, you'll have a buyer breakfast that morning at 8:30. And then at 9:30, they'll have the parade of champions. And if you've never been to that before, everybody that won first and second place will be able to parade around the stadium and show off of their exhibits. And then they'll give community champion awards. And then right after that, it goes into the live auction, and you'll be able to bid. And the way the bidding process works, if you're not familiar with that, you can actually bid on it, buy it. If you just want to give it back to the student, you can do that as well. Or if you just want to take it and have it processed, put it in deep freeze, you have that opportunity as well. So you can get all the information on this at the Wylie Show Sale at gmail.com if you have any questions or anything. Just look it up on Facebook. It's easy to track down. So then I'm going to move over to Saxe, the Saxe area. Farmers Market is back. Now, generally, this is always the second Saturday of the month, but it got rained out last week, so they're moving it to March 15th. But this will be the first one for the season. And it's in partnership with Four Seasons Market. It's located right in the heart of the 5th Street district. The market will be held every second Saturday through December. The location is 3324 5th Street in Saxe, and the time's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can come on out and shop for produce, discover unique local goods, support the small businesses, and while connecting with your community. It's always a good time to get out and hit that little square there and just shop locally. And it's a lot of fun too. Get your family out that Saturday morning and just enjoy the sunshine. So, and then we'll move right on over to the Family Arcade and Fun Drive. This is another Saxe event. Saxe Parks and Recreation is hosting this, and on March 21st from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. they're having for the game night. It'll be games, activities, and community fun. Mission is 1 new pack of socks per family. So they're doing this as a fundraiser, and all donations will go to Five Loaves Food Pantry. So just bring a pack of socks per family, and then that will get you into the door. This is located at Michael J. Felix Community Center off of Saxe Road. And so don't miss your chance to give back while enjoying a fantastic family night event. So. And then I have the Spring Festival. It's that time of year, guys, when we have those markets. We have the Spring Festival coming up. But this Spring Festival will be at Open House at Hidden Pastures. This will be Saturday, March 15th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They'll have a fun-filled day of nature, community, and connection at their annual Spring Open House. You'll get to meet family or friendly animals and learn about the equine assisted learning programs, enjoy guided farm tours, and soak in the beauty of spring at the Hidden Pastures. They'll have kid activities, they'll have food, you'll be able to shop some local vendors as well. It's a family-friendly event, and it's open to everyone, whether you're a longtime supporter or a first-time visitor. They would love to see you out there. And I will add, but this mission for this is free, but they are accepting donations to support veterans, first responders, and families with special needs. And so also with that same exact location at Hidden Pastures, they're doing a ribbon cutting on Friday, March 14th. And that's at 12 o'clock. So if you want to come out and support that and be a part of that as well, be sure to do that. So, and then the last thing that I have, Lendon, and this is one of Wylie's biggest events of the year. And if you've never been to this, me and my wife, we went for the first time a couple of years ago, and it is really, really cool. You get to walk downtown and just walk around and try different foods. If you're like me, I love to be a foodie and just experience different types of food. And this is the place to do it right here. And it's all for a great cause and a fundraiser. But this is Monday. They call it Taste of Wylie. It's on Monday, May 5th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it's at Old City Park, which is right downtown there on Ballard. Join them for a 2-hour of foodie experience where you'll sample delicious bites from 40 local restaurants and food trucks, all while supporting area food pantries. 100% of the ticket sales, donations, and sponsorships benefit the Wylie Community Christian Care Center, Amazing Grace, and Five Loaves and Hopes for the City. So this is another event that sells out extremely fast. So if you're wanting to get those tickets, just be sure to all you need to do is just Google Taste of Wylie or go to the city's website, and you sign up straight from there. So that's all I got. There's plenty to do in Wylie, that's for sure, for the next couple of months.
There's always something going on in Wylie. It's amazing just how many things are going on in Wylie all the time. I've got a couple of things I want to talk about, and that's just our Business Development Alliance networking groups. We have the Collin County one. It's going to be this month at Love and War in Plano. That's where we've been having it. We are looking at relocating that, but we'll give more information on that later. So March 26th, 11:30 to 1, about 30 minutes of networking. Then you'll have a speaker, keynote speaker that talks about 20, 25 minutes, and then you'll get to network some more. That's Love and War in Collin County. The fourth Monday, we have our one in Rockwall County. That's at Shenanigans. A lot of good opportunities there to meet, greet, and connect with other local business owners in the Rockwall County area. And then we are starting a Tarrant County Business Development Alliance, which will be, I believe, April the 9th. It's the second Wednesday of April. That's going to be our launch for that. So if you know anybody, any businesses in Tarrant County that are looking to connect, there's no charge for this. So everybody come out. The last one we had about 45. The one previous to that, we had almost 70 attendees. So doing very well there. So did anybody have anything else on What's Up, Wylie? Nothing. All right. So, well, we're going to get ready to go to commercial break. But before we do, what if I told you that everything you think you know about business growth is actually keeping you stuck? That referrals, hard work, and hustle, everything we've been conditioned to believe, are the very things preventing real success. I know I'm going to get pushback on this, and I'm happy to have it. All right. Today, we're going to be throwing out the rule book and replacing it with CEO level execution. We're going to go deep, no fluff, no theory, just real execution. So if y'all are ready, we're going to hit a commercial break, and we'll be right back to talk about the topic.
The Community Difference would like to thank each of the following partners for their continued support. At Fireboss Realty, we believe life is about relationships, and everything else is just details. Whether you're buying or selling, Scott and Amy Johnson are here to understand your family's unique needs and deliver expert guidance on the North Texas real estate market. With a reputation for integrity and personalized service, Fireboss Realty makes your home journey stress-free and successful. Ready to make your move? Visit firebossrealty.com and let's ignite your real estate dreams.
Everyone deserves access to affordable health insurance, but with traditional insurance, costs can be high and getting coverage can be complicated. JP Direct Health is a simpler, more affordable way to get the health coverage you need. With plans for individuals, families, and small businesses, you can save money on monthly premiums without the need for physicals. At jpdirecthealth.com, we specialize in customizing coverage to fit almost every budget with affordable PPO plans and many other benefits. With over 100 5-star Google reviews, JP Direct Health is a trusted resource making health insurance affordable and accessible for everyone year-round. Affordable health insurance solutions are a proactive protection, not a reactive solution. Visit jpdirecthealth.com today and see how much you can save.
I'm always here to help. Thank you.
Total Care Emergency Room now has 9 locations in the DFW Metroplex. With no appointment needed, our incredible staff will get you checked in with no wait times. Our 5-star facility is open and fully staffed 24/7. We offer extensive treatment options for patients of all ages, providing on-site labs and imaging equipment, including CT, X-ray, and ultrasound, allowing us to provide fast, convenient care for our community. Total Care ER is your neighborhood emergency room. TotalCare.us.
Unwanted pests in your home can be stressful. From creepy crawlies to critters under the floorboards, they disrupt your peace of mind. But don't worry. All Pest Solutions is here to help. We offer a comprehensive range of safe and effective pest control solutions. We target all types of pests, big or small, including insects, rodents, and wildlife. All Pest Solutions, your local experts for a pest-free home. Breathe easy and enjoy your life again. Call today for a free quote. 972-442-1169 or email us at customerservice@allpestsolutions.com.
To belong is one of our most basic human needs. Best Buddies International is the world's largest organization dedicated to ending the social isolation of 200 million individuals who have intellectual and developmental disabilities. We focus on meaningful one-to-one friendships, integrated employment, leadership development, and inclusive living. You have the power to make an impact, create change, and champion our mission of inclusion today.
Now back to the show.
All right, we're back. We're going to be talking about thinking like a CEO, even if you are a team of one. We're not just going to be talking about growing a business today. We're going to be talking about how to escape the cycle of working in your business and start growing like a CEO. Because if you don't make the shift, you're never going to scale. You're never going to have true freedom, and you're always going to be one bad month away from a bad year. So let's get right to it. If your business disappeared tomorrow, what would be left for you? And how much of what you built is truly an asset versus an illusion of success? So before you answer that question, I want you to tell me what is the difference, and we're not going to do the what's the difference segment yet, but this is my own what's the difference. What's the difference in thinking like a CEO and thinking like just a self-employed business owner?
Well, I think in my business, and one of the things that that I learned real quick, like when I started charging and going out and looking how to charge for my business, I always thought, all right, well, if I did by per hour and not think about like a CEO, which would be, hey, I'm paying for myself, I'm paying for the company, and I'm making a profit. Those are three different things. I wasn't thinking like that. So I was entering in it thinking like, okay, all I got to do is just make this $20 an hour, $25 an hour, whatever the hourly rate is, and that's it. I'm doing great. And then you stop and think about, well, now I'm working in the business and I'm only paying myself. I'm not paying the company. I'm not paying an employee. And so I had to change my whole mindset and aspect of thinking when it comes to how to bid on a job and progress from there.
That's a really good start to this subject, because I think that a lot of us, and I'm guilty of this, I did this when I was younger, is you pigeonhole yourself because you look at, okay, this is what I was making when I had a job. Now I can give myself a $10 an hour raise by going and working for myself. But once you set your pricing, now what do you do to scale? So do we make that mistake that we undercut our ability to grow because we establish pricing at such a low rate that now when I want to add a crew, or I want to pay a CPA because I don't have time to do the books, there's no margin in there. I have no room to grow my business because my customers now already know this is what I charge. And if I go back to them with another $10 an hour or X amount for a particular job, they're going to put the brakes on. And then what happens to me? Let's talk about that real quick.
About that. Sometimes we're scared to make that change in our quotes, in our pricing, or for some people to even charge something they may have done for free all this time. And the light bulb came on and they're like, oh, okay, well, I guess I will start charging this, and being scared to charge a certain amount. That was me in the beginning of my business. Like, now I'm not scared to charge because I've been in the beauty industry and I'm able to, charge people from there. But with this particular business, charging a fee of some sort, what that should be, etc. And you just made a good point about scaling and adding people to the equation. So in my case, it was a virtual assistant. Well, virtual assistants cost money.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to be doing that monthly. So yeah, I need to factor that in my pricing. I'm like, yeah, I got to pay her, or a photographer, or, all those things. I have events every month. That stuff adds up. So, and to change the mindset, it's a mindset thing. So changing that mindset of, oh man, they're not going to, work with me anymore if I up my prices. You've already built that credibility.
Yeah, that's so good, because when you think about that, and I do think that is a big distinction on how CEOs think versus how we as self-employed people think, right? They're already thinking about growing and scaling. They're already thinking about, it takes money to grow, so I've got to charge more. And I think they have a better understanding of how to explain that value, right? Because you think about our customers. Our customers look at this like, well, I see your pricing, and they think all that money's going right into your pocket, right? They think it's just bank account money. They don't think that 70% of that, 60% of that is expenses. And then you get just a little bit over the, whatever's left. A lot of times, and sometimes we have nothing left, right? After we pay everybody else. So Debbie, in thinking like that, and you just bought a brand new franchise, right?
Right.
I'm assuming that when you get into that franchise area, they've got a lot of those things worked out for you already, right? And that's a great thing about buying a franchise, because a lot of those pain points have already been experienced and they've already been allotted for. What's the biggest thing that you saw differently when you got into this franchise model on how they think and how they prepare for the future versus what you did before.
Right. And it's so funny because I was thinking about that as you guys were talking, because I came a world as a financial planner making a commission. So all you were doing was chasing after the next referral. Yes, I could hire agents, but again, they were on a 1099 mindset. So it was a different process. I was just looking for that next sale. And honestly, now that I start to think back about it, I didn't think about what it took me to get to that one sale of the travel and all that. You do it at the end of the year, that's what my taxes. So yes, the franchise itself, thank goodness they have set up spreadsheets and stuff so I can see my margin so that I can control that. They're already putting in place what my royalty is, what my taxes are for my employees, what all the supplies or cost is. And so then when I set the price and how many people I need at that event to make sure that I can get the profit that I want. And they're encouraging anywhere from a 38 to a 40%. Now, if in the beginning you might lower it a little bit just to get your name out there, but at least I had those things in place. Because when I first started looking at, we can charge this and this and this, I wasn't taking that into consideration whatsoever. And so I would have already been behind, So it has been very helpful. It has definitely been a huge concept of because when I came in, my whole goal was to be the CEO. I was not going to be a teacher. I love children stuff, but that wasn't my goal. Now, I have seen that I need to know the business just as well as my teachers. So I have also become more invested in learning, but still my ultimate goal, and that's interesting too, because I've seen a lot of other franchisees in this business, is they're not doing what I'm doing. And I wanted this as an asset, and I wanted it running itself in the next 5 years with a manager, where a lot of them, just conversation the other day, they're working in their business. When do you know when to hire? I mean, I have 4 teachers already. And so yeah, to your point, Lendon, it is great to have that background, but you also, not just because you have that franchise, do all of them think like that. So right. They're still being employees in their business, not thinking like a CEO.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's a mindset. And I know that I experienced this. I had a few mentors coming up, but when I first started in business, I was lost. I mean, I knew how to do what I knew how to do, and I was really good at that, but there was so much that I didn't even know existed that I was going to have to do. And there was a confidence issue, right? How can I confidently charge this much, because it seems so outrageous. Mm-hmm. But it's the reality. You have expenses. You got to cover expenses.
Right.
And then you have to have a profit, or there's really no point in doing it. Right.
Right.
So how would y'all explain, first of all, did that ever happen to you? Did you have that mindset that, oh my God, this seems like I'm having to charge so much. What are people going to think? And then where did you transition into that confidence to go, not only am I worth this, but this is what this costs to do, and I have the value there. Let's go with Harvey, and then we'll go to Robbin.
Well, to kind of add to that a little bit, what Debbie was talking about, when I first got into the business and I was thinking about, all right, how do I need to charge? My mindset still, thinking like a solo entrepreneur. So I'm thinking, okay, this really will cover for me, and that's all I'm thinking about. And then I got out of that mindset, and I'm thinking, okay, I need to charge enough to pay the labor for someone else to do it, and then enough for the company to make money. And then my wife comes along. She's obviously the brains of this operation. I'm just the talker. She came and said, you got to hire somebody. You're going to have to pay somebody to supervise those individuals, or to go walk those behind them and make sure everything's going good. And is that still going to be you? Because a CEO wouldn't do that. A CEO is not going to do that. So now I'm adding another line on top. And so once I started adding all that up to what you were talking about, Lendon, now I'm looking at this price that I'm having to charge, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, who would pay this? If I go to an average, owner and say, hey, it's going to cost you, $55 an hour to get your place cleaned, when they can go hire somebody for $15, how am I going to get this? How am I going to charge that and get this? And then that's when I had to really think about it and learn that, not your average person can go, even though they say they can go to Walmart, pick up some spray and a mop and a broom and go in and say it's clean, but is it disinfected? Is it sanitized? There's a lot more to it than just hiring, Joe Blow off the street there and paying them $15 an hour and say, hey, clean my business. We learned that through going through COVID. You got the flu season that we're dealing with. So there's different aspects that, you really have to be able to talk that up and talk to your customers about that and truly be able to show them the benefit of what you're paying for. So
that's a great point, because thinking like a CEO, you're going to think of those things, right? Number one, you can hire somebody for $15 an hour, but what if they quit in too much? Now you got to get somebody else. Right. You're managing this person. You're paying taxes on this person. You're doing all the things for this person. The fact that we can bring convenience and we can take away a lot of those headaches and then add all those other benefits in, that's what I think we fail to think about as a CEO. We think about the labor aspect. We do not think about the added value or understand how to create the added value. What are your thoughts on that, Robbin?
So I believe the confidence for me came in as far as my value when a coach who is now a person that's one of my coaches brought to mind. She was like, you have to see the value in what your products and services are. And that kind of goes hand in hand in what you're pricing for. And that didn't hit me until an actual customer of mine said the same thing about my pricing. And she was like, Robbin, you charge way too low. So when a person who's now a customer says, you charge too low, I thought it was going to be a lot more. And then it hit me, the light bulb was, whatever your price is, whoever is meant to be your customer, they're going to pay it regardless if it's $1, $1,000.
That is so, I'm sitting here thinking the same thing, because I think a lot of us, especially if we have the solopreneur mindset, right? Are we marketing to the lower level people that are going to pay these instead of focusing on the people that will actually see the value in what we're doing?
Right.
That's the difference in the mindset, right? A CEO is going after the people that have the money and see the value.
Right. Yeah.
And that was just ding, ding, ding moment. And changed my prices shortly after that phone call.
There you go.
Because that person sent me more money than what I offered.
Wow.
I was like, thanks. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like that. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Harvey, you cut out a little bit.
Say that again.
All right. So I want to go to our next.
Send me some customers like that. Sorry.
Sure.
Well,
I think
it is a mindset, though, because sometimes you really do, because I'm looking, when I start to price, I'm like, oh, would a mom really want to pay that? But then if you look at it and break it down by hour, that's what has really helped me. So if I break it down, it's only $10 to $12 an hour for this child to come here and get arts and crafts, but it really isn't that much, even though it might add up over the time. So that's kind of helped me, is break it down instead of that final total is like, $395 for a week. But if you break it down, okay, how many hours is that? Or how many days? And then how many hours? I'm like, well, that's not that much in the long run. So sometimes that's kind of what's helped me to say, no, that is an okay price. And it's and mine's not always the most expensive. But it's not the cheapest either, because you have to make a profit, Well,
I think you have to have that high level CEO mindset to realize that, what my value is and the people that I want to target are going to see it. I think sometimes we fail to understand how to articulate value. Right? And so it's easier to go, and I don't mean this disparagingly, but with the people that will just buy it no matter what, right? Okay, it's not that if it's cheap, I'll buy it. Well, if it's cheap and they buy it, they're probably not going to tell anybody that they bought it, because what's that thing that you can get it fast, good, and cheap, but you can't get all three.
Right.
You can get it fast and cheap, but you can't. So that's kind of the way you have to look at the value. I want to go to our next talking point right now. Something that I've always thought about. We've all heard the saying, work harder or work smarter, not harder, right? So I had this, I was teaching a seminar one time, and I had this lady that was talking about, you know, I'm working smarter, not harder. That means I'm only working a couple hours a day. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I don't think that's what that actually meant. It doesn't say work less, not harder. It says work smarter, not harder. So in thinking like a CEO, I want to look at these two comparisons, right? Some people think working smarter and not harder means working less. I don't think it means working less. I think it means smarter means more efficient. So if I'm working 12 hours a day, I'm still working 12 hours a day, but I'm accomplishing 10 times more than when I was working just harder in the same 10, 12 hours a day. Thoughts on that?
What are your structure? What's your systems? What do you have going? That's my mindset. Work smarter, not harder. What are we automating? What are we doing to cut time where you can be spending time doing, I like to call it, make that money activities. So,
right.
Versus just, you know, completely, you know, I met someone recently and they're like, yeah, you can make a lot of money and all you have to do is work 8 hours a week. And I'm like,
okay, if that's true, we would all be rich right now.
Thank you.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, here's what I love about processes. Okay, so and Harvey and Debbie know this. I'm an old football coach. And so when you're a coach, you have processes, right? You have processes in the way you run practice. You have processes in the way you teach and train. Everything is a process, because when things start going off the rails, it's easier to backtrack and see where you got off process, right? If I have a daily routine, and it was the same thing when I was bodybuilding, I wrote down everything I ate. I wrote down when I went to the gym, how much I lifted, all the reps, everything. I wrote that down. When I got to a plateau, nothing's changing. I could go back and I could look at what I did the last 3 months, and I go, well, I stopped eating this thing, or I stopped doing this exercise, or I stopped going to the gym at this particular time. Whatever it was that had me growing, both physically and professionally, whatever it was that had me growing, if you go back to that, you're probably going to start growing again. But at some point, we're humans and we will get off track. And if you're not tracking and you're tracking your routines, there's no way to know what got you there in the first place, but then there's nowhere to go back to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that, Harvey?
I like that. I like that thought process, because I think the biggest thing that I get from that, and I learn it every day, when you have employees, when you have customers involved, just take hiring, for example. We're dealing with this now. We're going through a stage of huge growth right now, so we're hiring. And I think, Lendon, all right, I got my hiring process down. It is locked down. We're good to go. It's thought out. And then, you know, we take a break from hiring for a little while, and all of a sudden we do it again, and I realize it's like, oh, you know what? How did we do this last time? And so I have to go back and look. And then I look at the process, and as I'm looking at it, I'm realizing, you know what? That may have worked last month, 2 months ago, but because of what we're going through now, that's not going to work that same way this time. And so I need to adapt that, change that, and do it differently. So it's a constant. It's not a one and done. I don't think being a CEO that it's always just, here's the strategy, this is the way it's going to be. It's just one and done. We're going to do it like that all the time. I think through the process of learning, it's always changing. It's always changing. You're always from what we did before. And the only way you can learn that is by tracking and keep up with it.
You know, one of the things that I learned from a CEO a long time ago, that the minute he implemented a process or a system, he started working to figure out what was going to go wrong with it and what he needed to do to fix it before any of that ever happened. And I think that that's, again, you see the way that people think. I want to talk about one thing, and then we're going to go to our what's the difference. Harvey, you mentioned hiring, and I've had these conversations with my son. I've had them with others, and people have asked me, if you had to grow a team again right now, who's the first person that you would hire? My response is always, I want to hire the person that's going to be in charge of interviewing, hiring, firing, and training. That's the person that I want. I want that off my plate, because that is, and from my perspective, that's a big time suck, right? You train somebody, you spend 30 days with them, 60, 90 days, and then they quit. Okay, I want somebody that's going to handle that for me. If you were going to hire someone right now as a CEO of your company, what would that person's responsibility be?
And I think what you just said is exactly what I need. Someone that could do the hiring process of it, at least get it up to the point of where I can do the last interview, or have another step there that they would go to. But I think for me, it would be that person that can come in and do that and do more of a supervisor role, if you will, as far as going out to my accounts and making sure, doing walkthroughs, and just handling that onboarding process of new customers.
I agree. What about you?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Say that one more time. It froze up on my end for some reason. So you all were frozen.
What about you? If you were going to hire one person right now, what responsibility would you want them to take on?
I just gave it to him. My email marketing. Get someone else to do it.
Okay. There you go. Yeah. Debbie?
I think the biggest thing would be more training. I enjoy the hiring because it's interesting enough, Harvey, having to hire new people and seeing another franchisee that's in the Fort Worth area, she's having a hard time with her employees. All the employees that I have found have been through connections. So the people that I have hired are people that either I've known or they've connected with me, and they have been the perfect fit for my company. So I have not hired anyone outside that I have not personally been introduced. So I think my whole focus has always been to hire within the people of my circle. And that's why I do try to network so much, because there's key people out there. But more of the training and aspect of overseeing the whole thing of organizing, okay, this teacher's going here and they have their assistant and stuff, so that I didn't have to do that. That's the time sucker right now.
That's you know what, just you sharing that, the fact that in a networking aspect, rather than going in and always asking for a referral, if you're going in and asking for, hey, who do you know that would fit this spot in my business? Man, what a great way to connect with people.
Yeah.
You know, they know somebody that's looking for a job.
Yeah.
And now you just built a connection.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's so much more supportive. I mean, I had one of my teachers just now send me something earlier today. Hey, look at this sign. We should put this up for the camp. So they're more invested when you have hired people that truly want to be there, especially on a part-time basis, but also because there's that connection there. So
awesome. All right. Well, that's all the time we have for that. We're going to hit our sounder right now for what's the difference. And as soon as that's over, we're going to come back and try to find out if y'all are really thinking on the CEO level or not. So hang on. We'll be right back.
And now it's time for What's the Difference?
All right, here we are. What's the difference? So it's a question where we ask, what's the difference? You give me, I give you two options, and you're going to give me a response to both of them. So not just one. So our first question today is, this is easy, y'all. We already did it. You've already explained it. So you ought to make 100 on the test. What's the difference between thinking like a CEO and thinking like an employee? And we'll start with Robbin.
Thinking like a CEO. I always say scaling, always growing.
Okay.
Thinking like just the self-employed person is, we talked about it a minute ago, like your pricing.
Yeah.
Or lack thereof.
So thinking like a CEO is far thinking, and an employee might just be, how much money can I make this month?
That's it.
And then
or
that
today.
process starts all over again next month, right?
Yeah.
So we're always on the hamster wheel chasing. What about you, Debbie? What's the difference in thinking like a CEO and thinking like an employee?
It is exactly what we talked about earlier. Is if I was thinking just like an employee, then I'm like, okay, I only focused on, I got to know how to teach the classes. I got to know how to take care of the class. Then they need to know the day-to-day operations. Where when I'm thinking like a CEO, okay, how can I create a system, a partnership, a program that'll help my business to grow? It's not just in the room, but how can I grow it around?
Harvey, what are your thoughts?
For me, I know back when I was working for corporate employees, I wanted to work, and I would always say, all right, what do I need to do today? And now that in my own business, I'm thinking, how do I make sure this gets done without me today? And so that's what I'm looking for as in the current role as a CEO of my own business.
Man, somebody's been studying the playbook. I love it. That's good stuff, because it's so true. When you are self-employed or you're an employee, you're thinking about the task of the moment, right? What do I need to do right now? And then as soon as that's done, you look up for somebody to give you a direction to do the next thing, right?
Right.
You don't have that luxury as a CEO. You have to think 10, 12 steps ahead. As we talked before about, you create a process and a system. Now I've got to create a backup plan in case that falls apart. Or as you said before, Harvey, time itself can change the way that process needs to be implemented, right? COVID, for instance, nothing was the same when COVID happened. We all had to pivot and adapt. And then when COVID was over, what was great about COVID, and I hate to even say great and COVID at the same time, but I saw a lot of businesses grow through COVID because they, for the first time in their life, they were forced to do something different.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
They had no choice. I've got to do it differently. They learned new skills. They learned how to turn on a computer and do Zoom calls. They learned things that now podcasts were born out of COVID.
Mine was.
Mine was too. So sometimes those things and how you adapt really can tell whether you're a good CEO or not. What's the difference between, we got about 2 minutes. We'll have to do this one quick. What's the difference between growth and scaling? And we'll go backwards this time. We'll start with Harvey.
For me, growth is adding more work, and scaling is doing more with less effort. I know for me, just adding more clients by working longer hours is growth. That's what I used to do. But when I started the systems in our operation and trained leaderships and got a team together, brand ambassadors, if you will, I was able to leverage automation, which started the scaling process for me.
Good answer. Debbie?
Yeah, I think for me is when I start to think about growth is just adding more classes, hiring more teachers, and then handling the increase of the demand. Versus scaling means that I'm creating systems, I'm automating the process, I'm building partnerships so that the business can grow without a huge increase in time. So, automation is huge. AI is one of the best things that I've discovered and use it constantly. And it really has helped to shut down certain time periods too. But yeah.
Okay. What about you, Robbin?
Ditto to everything everyone just said. But what I'll add to that is for both professional development. What are you doing as a entrepreneur to grow so you won't be stagnant and be in the same place a year from now? Right. So getting that coaching webinars, trainings to grow as a business owner.
I agree. I think for me, scaling is figuring out how to create a replicable business model that someone else could take and find the same success that we might be finding ourselves.
Absolutely. Right.
You know, and Harvey, you and I both have talked about franchising and how that comes together, or licensing a product and how that comes together. And really, you know, growth from my mindset, being a self-employed person for a while, and then being what I consider as a business owner, growth for me was just figuring out how I can make more money next month than I made last month. I grew. If I made $100 more, I grew. So yay for me. But man, that doesn't add up very much over, 5 years. It really doesn't. And scaling is being able to take a model and duplicate that model somewhere else and have the same amount of success because the processes work and the people buy into it. So great conversation. Anybody have any follow-up on that before we go to our final commercial and then put Miss Robbin in the spotlight and do a deep dive? There you go. She's used to that. That doesn't scare her at all. I can tell you right now.
What I will add with the scale piece, for entrepreneurs to not be afraid to do it. A lot of times we get to a place where we're comfortable.
Yeah.
And so don't be afraid to take that next risk.
Yeah.
And scale within your business. That one risk could be the best thing that could have happened to you for your brand.
We could probably talk on this all day because I love this subject. But the thing that you just made me think about, when we talk about risk, I think one of the hardest risks for any person to take and go into that CEO is trust. That's the biggest risk of all right there. Can I trust someone to do this the way that I need it done? Can I trust someone to turn this over to them and not have to just micromanage it? And I think that's where a lot of us, that's our biggest fear, is having trust. And that's the biggest risk for us. If we can get past that risk, then things start to grow for us. So
can I ask you something real quick? Yeah. So I was told that if you found someone that could do the job at least 80% of how you would do it, that's a good fit. Do you think that's true or false?
I think it's true, because if you look at, now I'm not saying it's easy for me to do. I'm not going to say I'm not going to say it's easy for me to do, but I know that it's true, because if you take that 80% and then that system is put together and you replicate that into another market, right? So now you've got 160%. So you're 60% better than where you were when you're doing it by yourself. So you keep adding those 80s and you see growth.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's
good. It's just hard to accept those 80s sometimes.
I know.
Well, for me, it's the 20% that they didn't do right that freaks me out, because I'm like, oh my God, how bad is that going to hurt the brand? They didn't do this the way that I would have done it, but nobody's ever going to do it the way we do it.
Exactly.
And that is the curse of being a business owner, is the fact that in order to grow, you got to let go.
Yeah.
But to let go, that's a huge risk, right? And I think that we have to learn then. I think maybe the CEO mindset would say, okay, I need to start looking at that 20% and figure out how to soften those blows of what they don't do well, right? Let them take care of the 80. I will clean up the 20. And now you're doing 20% less work also, right?
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's hit this final break. We're going to come back and go a deep dive on Robbin here. So everybody stick around. We'll be right back.
The Community Difference Wylie would like to thank the following partners for their ongoing support.
We are Cloud Staff, enabling remarkable growth for businesses everywhere with our pioneering enterprise-grade remote work solutions. We are on a mission to help business owners scale while reducing costs by matching you with an amazing staff mobilizing your team and helping manage business performance, making us the #1 workplace as remote work gets done. Connect with us to access the world's top talent and discover how we can enable remarkable growth for your business.
And now, back to the show.
All right. I hope y'all enjoyed the topic. I did. That was a great conversation, and I actually learned a lot. That's what I love doing. That's what I love about my job, doing this job, is I get to hear all these different perspectives. And over the last 5 years, trust me, I've heard over 2,000 perspectives, and I've learned a whole lot more than probably anybody else on this show has ever learned. But what we want to do now is we want to talk to Robbin, and I am going to let Debbie start us off and just discuss Robbin, who she is, what she does, why everybody watching this show today should absolutely love Robbin Kelton. So Debbie, take it away.
Yes. Well, I was introduced to Robbin end of last year, and we got to visit, and man, she's just a wonderful, wonderful person. She really cares about people. And I got to attend one of her events because she has many events to socialize. This was a vision board event, which was amazing. Actually, my co-host Mina, Dr. Mina Singh, that's on the show with me on Frisco, came, and I think they even met afterwards and stuff. But Robbin, I know that right that week that you had that event, you had some life-changing events that happened and could have been really shake your world. But because of your positivity and because of all your other things, I think you really embraced it. So can you share kind of what that was, and then how your thought process through that, and how maybe it's even changed you even more since I've seen you last in January? So.
Okay. So I have an annual event called Mimosas and Visions. So it's getting people in the room. You create your vision boards. And why not a great way to bring people in, but with mimosas, all different kinds. Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. We'll be here all night. But the day before the event, I worked in corporate on the mortgage servicer side. Worked for a mortgage servicer law firm. Been in the industry 18 and a half years. And so, but this firm in particular, I was there about 3.5. And so got a message from senior management, and it says update call. And I've been through enough layoffs to know it's a layoff. And went to my quiet place, prayed about it, got on the call. Of course, I already knew what was coming. My friend was actually coming into my apartment at the time. I said, hey, have a seat. Take a listen. I'm about to be laid off. Her mouth dropped. She's like, are you serious? I said, yeah, about to be laid off. Put it on speaker. Of course, what happens is what's happening. We go about our day. The next day is Mimosas and Visions. And my thing was, I couldn't let the layoff affect the next day to be with the ladies who paid money to be an event. I can't be there sulking and, I had to continue to keep it moving. And by the grace of God, we already had other things going. So the blessing of that was, I'm glad that he low-key prepared me for right now. So right now I am in full self-employment. Boy, it's scary, but it's okay. I don't get scared of much. So, but that's pretty much been the fun and joy. And again, grateful that we have the network that we have. Even prior to it happening, it was one of those things. I kind of wrapped the call up for them. They were still talking. I was like, okay, yeah. They're like, well, Miss Kelton, do you have anything you want to add? I said, thanks for the opportunity. Y'all get off my phone now. Have a blessed day. I was leaving for DR 2 weeks later. Guess I'll go back for DR.
Right. Robbin, I've got a follow-up question for you. So similar thing happened to my mother. My mother worked for a large corporation for 19 and a half years. At 20, her retirement would have been fully vested, meaning she would have got a lot more. Well, they laid her off. She was a corporate nurse. And I took that at that moment that I trust myself to work for myself and do all the right things. And no matter how hard entrepreneurship gets, it's up to me to get it out of the ditch if it goes in the ditch. But I can never get laid off if I'm working for myself, because I ain't quitting on me, right? How do you feel about that now? The fact that you went through that and you're in control of your own future right now. And no, not every day is going to be the brightest. It's going to be some challenges sometimes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes things don't work out. But do you feel a sense of peace that Absolutely. You have control of your life?
I spent all of last year anxious because they had already been laying off throughout all of 2024. Wow. So I made sure to not have that attitude coming into 2025. So I'm like, if it happens, we know who we serve and it's going to get taken care of. And there won't be an ounce of lack. And that was kind of my attitude. So when it happened, I had a smile on my face. I said, oh, you guys, bye. Okay. Let me ship you your stuff back. Okay. Let me focus on, and part of what I did mention, got accepted into an accelerator program cohort for women entrepreneurs. That Tuesday, started that Tuesday. So started the cohort Tuesday, laid off Friday. My event was the next day. So it was a very eventful week. Those mimosas, it was a great time to have a mimosa.
I bet it was.
So, Robbin, I know that you have this podcast, and I think it's primarily women that come on the show. How did that kind of get started? And then I know you've had women from all over the world. So, what's one or two interesting people in different countries? And even how do you work the time zone difference with that, too, with the podcast?
Well, we pepper in some men from time to time. So, Lendon, Harvey, don't be surprised if I say, hey, don't you just want to come over to my podcast? The bulk of the audience is DFW. So, hey, don't you just want to come on and join me?
Sure.
So, first question is, how did the show begin? Be honest, podcasting was not in the forefront at the time. This was 2020, getting invited to a networking event, height of the pandemic. This person I do many side things. And so one of those things is Mary Kay. So a lady found me promoting Mary Kay while we were sheltered in place. Couldn't go nowhere. But who was working? UPS. So I went and I posted on a bunch of Facebook groups about Mary Kay. Hey, keep your skin together while you're sheltered in place. And so a lady found me promoting it and said, hey, when the doors of the city open back up, I'm going to have a networking event here in town. Great. Can you provide some samples? Provided the samples to her, asked about the event, went to the event, ran my mouth, got all the social media handles, all the business cards. I go home. My business card I had a salon suite at the time in Firewheel. That card gets chosen. And so I got a free spotlight to come on to, who now helps me with my show's podcast to talk about my salon. I did that, started following the platform. 3.5 months later, was later asked to be a host on her show or host my own. I'm laughing. I said, you want the person who's scared to do public speaking to do a podcast? Let me pray on that. I'll get back to you. I don't know. Week later, awakened out of my sleep at 3 a.m., came up with the name of the show, who I'd serve, and I've been live every second and fourth Thursday night. I'm live tonight at 8 p.m. since. Episode 84 is tonight. I am shocked. I am nervous every show.
Awesome.
And best decision we've ever made. I'll tell anybody that. And the platform is I get to spotlight and promote women-owned businesses and some guys. Don't want to leave you guys out, Harvey and Lendon, but women-owned business from everywhere. And so it's been a great experience so far. What was the other question? I'm sorry.
Well, I think we're getting close to needing to wrap up. But what's one place? What's the longest place that you had on the show?
The person that's
from another country.
Japan.
Awesome.
So it's early in the morning. So she was starting her day as we were doing the show.
Wow.
Awesome. Well, Robbin, we do have to go. We're unfortunately out of time. We've only got about 40 seconds left. If you would, I've got it scrolling at the bottom, tell everybody how to get in touch with you. And I just want to thank you for coming on here, because I really do believe that you live and exhibit the CEO mindset, the way that you have taken your struggles and you've just turned those into opportunities for yourself. That's what being a CEO is all about. And I couldn't be happier that Debbie brought you on today. It was a pleasure meeting you. But tell everybody how to get in touch with you.
I am at Mamapreneur Podcast. We're everywhere: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. And so if you're wanting to get your brand out there, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to chat and give more details.
All right. Final thoughts before we close out. Debbie.
Amazing show. Love the topic. Thank you, Robbin, for being my guest. It was just perfect.
Harvey.
Absolutely, Robbin. You did a fantastic job. It was awesome having you on and learning more about you. And it's not just a guy run. Me and my wife do this together. So I need to get you and her connected. Oh.
Absolutely. You guys can come on as a couple. I'd love it.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm just very grateful. I mentioned prior to us starting, I'm normally on the opposite end of this. So this feels great to be interviewed. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for those of you watching, I hope you took something out of today's show, because every one of us came from different backgrounds. I too, Robbin, I dropped speech class 3 times in college because I couldn't say my name in front of a group of people. And here I am running and hosting podcasts now. God has a strange way of putting you where he feels like you need to be, not
Absolutely.
where you think you should be. And to be able to come on and Debbie share her story about, where she's transitioned into that CEO lifestyle. Robbin, the same with you. Harvey, the same with you. I hope that we're bringing the type of information that our community, the small business owners in the community, can take and build their own confidence with, because we all can do it. If we can do it, they can do it. I know y'all believe that as well as I do. Everybody, I want to thank everybody for watching Community Difference Wylie, and tune in to Frisco later today at 2:30, and we'll see everybody later.
Thank you for watching today's show.
The Community Difference Wylie was made possible by Lendon Wilson with the Difference Media LLC and creator of the Community Difference series, and by Harvey Loosier with Twilight Cleaning Services. The Community Difference Wylie. Together, we can make the difference. And